Hello, my name is Brianna. And when I was 10 years old, my mother fell in love with her boss, abandoned me and my father, and moved into her new lover's mansion in the wealthy part of the town. I was devastated and I cried for weeks. But what was worse was how devastated my father was. It took him years to recover from this, and he still refuses to speak to my mother. He lets me spend weekends with her, but he has no interaction with her. When she picks me up, he disappears to hit workshop at the bottom of the garden. Worst of all is my mother's new family, particularly her new husband's child, Mina, my stepsister, who is a complete brat. She's a year older than me and the wealthiest student at our school. Yes, we attend the same school. My mother's new spouse, her father, is a millionaire. He buys whatever my mother and Mina want. Mina, on the other hand, always wears the most up-to-date fashion trends at school. Everyone knows we are the stepsisters, but if you saw us together, you wouldn't believe it. We don't get together very often, to be sure. In any case, it wasn't by choice. Yes, she's quite cruel to me. For years, I've been wearing the same outfit. My father forces me to wear them till they're practically coming apart. He even forced us to take sewing classes together because he believed it would be a wonderful way for us to bond and because he can't afford to buy me anything new very often. Dad refused to take any money from Mum when she left us, even though he's poor and manufactures furniture for a living. As a result, we struggle to get by each month. All I want is for my mother to be able to purchase me some good clothes. But I'm sure my father would be furious since I'd be wearing Frank's money. Well, Frank is my mother's new husband, by the way. Anyway, Mina's 16th birthday was coming up, and she was planning the greatest 16th birthday that our town had ever seen. She had even hired a band, rented a runway, and some famous models were coming to conduct a fashion show the weekend before her party. My mother and I were out looking for outfits. Dad had given me $20, which I had hoped would be plenty to get a new dress. Mina burst out laughing when she spotted my $20. My mom just sighed when she looked at us. Now Mina was trying, on Gucci outfits since her father had given her like $2,000 out of nowhere. I couldn't take it any longer and sobbed in the clothing store. I told Mina that it wasn't fair and that she had whatever she wanted without having to worry about hurting her father's feelings. Mom tried to calm me down, but I bolted from the store. I despised Mina's opulence, and she was always so cruel to me. She had no idea what it was like to be poor. I ran until I reached a cafe, and I decided I didn't need a new dress to please Mina and her snobby pals. So I just spent the $20 on lunch. Mina came in as I sat lost in thought, eating my pasta. What is she doing in this place? I pretended I wasn't interested in hearing about her magnificent gown and simply wanted to be left alone. She begged me to return to the store with her. I had just finished my spaghetti and decided it wasn't worth it to argue with her. She had made my life hell on the way back, and when her father called after he hung up, she began to cry. He had just told her that he wouldn't be home in time for her party because the conference in New York has been delayed, and he had transferred another $2,000 to her bank and told her to get a nice new handbag for the big day. I couldn't understand why she was crying. She stared at me and said, "Don't you understand it, Brianna? Your father loves you so much, and he always spending time with you. He loves you so much. He loves you so much. He still dressed in your old clothing and enjoys spending time with you." I didn't get it at first, but then she just blurted out, "I'm envious." Okay, then everything makes sense. The way she treated me, the way she slandered my father and mocked us for dressing in rags. I nearly wanted to chuckle because she was envious of my father's decision to favor me. I held her and told her it's okay because we've been terrible to each other for the past few years out of envy. I stated I was jealous as well, which is why I stormed out of store. Isn't it true that the grass is always greener on the other side? We both understood our fathers love us. They just show it in different ways, and one approach is always better than the other. So let's just say we're getting along very well now. What are your thoughts on this story? Please feel free to leave your thoughts and stories in the section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. Bye!
My name is Henry. I come from a lovely home with two loving parents who are always willing to go out of their way to make me happy. They quarrel at times and shout at others. Honestly, it's my mother who screams and argues, but they're amazing and always support me, and for that, I'm eternally grateful. Without them, I wouldn't have become the captain of the football team or top student in my science class for all these reasons. And despite being this amazing to me, I never questioned what I knew about my parents until what happened a few weeks ago. My father has always stood apart from the rest of my friends' fathers. I understand that many people expect dads to be rich, skilled workers, and football fans. My father, on the other hand, had never been any of those things. He's tiny and soft-spoken, never wishing to fight or even argue with anyone. That's never an issue for me. But that didn't mean I didn't see it as teenager. Hearing people talking behind my father's back always made me angry. And it didn't stop until he came to pick me up from school. I overheard my peers laughing and imitating his mannerism, which irritated me. Tom, another football player, once questioned me. Are you sure that guy isn't your mother? I tried to ignore it and move away, but my father could get his art. These people are plainly enraged that our team is going to destroy them. As I tried to leave, a few of other males began to cluster around me, obstructing my path. The second guy, Andrew, immediately weighed in, saying, Your father hasn't come out as gay yet. As I tried to leave, there was a lot more swearing and sharper words he used. Before he could say anything else, my fists were lodged in his jaw. I rushed out of school before realizing what I've done, and to no one's surprise, my parents and I were called to the principal's office the next day. It turned out that Andrew was not pleased. His parents were furious and went to the principal's office with my parents to find out more about what happened. Andrew's mother was annoying. She continued to stare at my father before whispering something into her husband's ear, and they both chuckled. The situation was beginning to get on my nerves even more than before. The principal then began to speak and preach about being peaceful and not using violence, but I couldn't hear him because I was completely focused on my father, trying to read his facial expression and find the appropriate things to say. Can you understand the situation? Imagine you're serving my shoes, having to confront your father in front of a crowd of people you despise. The principal asked me to explain why I act violently to everyone in the room, but I refused to say anything. My father then demanded an answer from me, only to be followed by mother demanding that I say something. My father then asked me the same question again, and I seriously wished the ground would swallow me up. What am I supposed to say? I'm not sure I'm going to inform my father about this. My rage, my sadness, and frustration were all unsolved questions in my mind. We all processing much beyond my expectation. Then my father rose up, aggressively declared that he would not leave the office until he knew the truth. The situation was suffocating me at the time, so I exploded and rose to my feet in less than a second. I screamed at him. Tell me, why are you all doing this? Why do you act like the other father? What happened to you? Are you really interested in learning what happened? My birdie call you gay. They all call you gay. My parents looked at each other and lowered their head. I asked angrily why they were silent. What's the matter, Dad? There was no reaction. There is no something except quiet. I snatched him from his arm and asked, Is it true? Louder this time. Are you gay, man? I could see him holding back tears, and when he didn't respond, I burst out shouting and demanded him telling me the truth. When he got up and said louder than ever, Yes, I'm gay. I was stunned and unable to comprehend anything. All I could think about is how he lied to me and how he deceived me. He never be able to regain my faith. From time I woke up, Imagine all the circumstances I confront and reaction I get from my pawns. They are aware of the truth regarding my father. I felt that if I was about to pass down that precise moment, I looked around. Everything was fuzzy, and all I could see were Andrew's parents, the school principal, the counselor, all of whom were smiling and looked at me. That shocks me. How is it possible that my own emotional roller coaster felt like a fun movie scene to them, and they just watch and smile? Without looking back, I slammed the door and bolted. In that moment, I felt incredibly vulnerable and weak for exposing my reality and harsh emotions to these remorseless people. Despite my amazement, I was able to learn my lesson. Our personal lives are named that for a reason. I still get used to my new reality, but whether or not my father is gay is none of anyone's business. At least, I have a loving father who loves me beyond all else. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my story. Please like and subscribe and share if you have a similar experience in the comment sections below.